Well, artificial intelligence is quickly becoming a part of everyday life, including how young people search for emotional and mental health advice online. But as more teens and young adults turn to AI tools in moments of crisis, an important question is emerging. Are these platforms helping or harming? Let's send it over to Dave in Studio B for more. I want the answer to this question, Dave.
Great question, right? That's what we're here for this morning, Danita, right? Rick Kellar is the president and CEO of PEGS Foundation, a philanthropic organization in Hudson dedicated to improving lives of people affected by mental health. He has been examining the growing role AI is playing in mental health support. He joins me right now. Thank you so much for joining us here on this Monday morning. Good to see you.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it. It's a great day, right? Cavs win. Cavs win.
Hey,
so.
I'll tell you.
It's good for the mental health.
A victory Monday, right?
Yes.
Well, you're right about that. I mean, it does.
We're a lot happier right now, for sure.
Yes, the tone is set.
Yes.
For sure. All right, well, before we get into the heavy questions, can you just explain exactly what OpenAI is?
Yeah, so OpenAI is a public benefit corporation that was created to promote and to build out AI infrastructure, and they own ChatGPT. So the more commonly folks would associate OpenAI, and they would know, oh, that's the ChatGPT app platform for AI.
Right, okay. I just asked ChatGPT a few questions this weekend, so we're all familiar with that. Yeah. All right, so you recently took part in discussions at OpenAI about mental health. What was the biggest takeaway from those conversations?
Yeah, the biggest takeaway is, so I traveled to OpenAI headquarters in San Francisco with fellow CEOs for the CEO Alliance for Mental Health, and so that's the leading organizations in the country, of which PEGS is one of them. There's 15 of us that are members, founded in 2000 as a response to the pandemic, COVID pandemic. But it's the head of the American Psychological Association, Psychiatric Association, NAMI National. And we are invited to come out because there's a growing concern around suicide, particularly amongst youth, and how is AI a good and maybe not a good way for folks to access behavioral health, particularly youth. So we traveled out to their headquarters. My biggest takeaway was we were apprehensive about things we would hear. We weren't sure how OpenAI would be to hear our concerns, and they were genuinely concerned as well, and that was a great for us to hear.
That's positive to hear.
Very positive.
No question. A recent report found more than 1 million users in just 1 week were showing signs of mental health crisis and interacting with AI tools, right? So how alarming is that for the mental health leaders?
Well, it is. There's an increase in anxiety in our society, particularly amongst youth. There's suicide rates are up, and a lot of youth are turning to AI as an alternative to find things out. And sometimes what they hear isn't always what they need to hear, because one of the functions and algorithms within AI is to be self-affirming. So if you ask it enough times, it's going to tell you, hey, the Cavs will win because you want them to win, right? Oh, okay. So as you're asking things, it will self-affirm.
That's scary.
What's scary is that there's some court cases where youth befriend a bot or an AI personality, and that AI personality will red flag, oh, hey, suicide's not good, you shouldn't do that, but ultimately may help, and this is going to sound sort of dark, may help that individual, that young person. I need to write a note to my parents so that they do or don't feel guilty when I die by suicide. It's super frightening. And so the companies understand this and are taking measures to build guardrails, but my group, the CEO Alliance, thinks you need to do more.
This is tough because even the best parents, I mean, you're not with your kids every single minute of the day. You don't always know what's happening on those devices.
Right, that's true. And so there's promise and peril with all these platforms. There was promise and peril when my 2 daughters first had access to Facebook or MySpace at the time. That's how old I am, and phones. And so it's like that. There's no substitute for whether you're a guardian, a grandparent, raising a child, or you're just a parent. There's no substitute for personal interaction, involvement, concern, and also to set limits for your children.
So for parents, that leads into the next question watching right now. Okay, what signs should they look for in their child when you're relying too heavily on AI?
Well, you're going to see, from our experience, you're going to see children that spend a lot more time in their rooms, a lot more time on devices. Well, I just described most everybody, right? It's device interaction is not a substitute for personal interaction. Also, there's an opportunity of AI too. I don't want to bash AI and apps. There's an opportunity for it to enhance caregivers in the care that they deliver. And that's one of the other things that we took away with our visit from OpenAI was, hey, what are the opportunities for a social worker to use AI to say help with their clinical notes, so then they have the opportunity to see more patients or spend more time with them rather than the billing and some of the other things that distract caregivers from delivering excellent care.
Is there anywhere anyone can turn to?
So I would guide folks towards NAMI.org, JED Foundation in New York. JED.org is another one. There's great statistics. For parents that are super concerned, or even individuals or young people, 988 is a hotline that you can call that can guide you. You get somebody to talk to that say, I'm feeling depressed, I'm thinking about harming myself. 988 is a hotline that you can call anytime, 24/7, to get help and guidance.
Yeah. So thank you so much for being here this morning.
Dave. I appreciate you being here.
Obviously very important, and I feel you really you put it out there for people that they could understand.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. All right, Danita. Well, there you go. Hey, listen, we talk about this almost every morning, right?
Yes.
And it's just very important right now.
Really important that we know that, and I appreciate him giving us that information. Good interview, Dave. Thank you so much.